There are a lot of different types of colleges in the US and a lot of different routes that people take after high school, such as college or such as joining the military. So perhaps the most interesting type of university to me is the one that combines both. Service academies. They're anything but your traditional college experience, other than the fact that you are getting an education for 4 years, because you have to dedicate at least 5 years of your life after college to being in the military. You give up your summer before freshman year, and you don't have a lot of the liberties and benefits that come with a standard 4-year university. However, obviously that's not to say there are a lot of benefits to being in one, and they're not easy to get into at all, and we'll get into that a bit later. But for now, let's check one of the most prominent ones out. Hello from the capital of Maryland, Annapolis, home of the United States Naval Academy. I just entered campus, only had to show my ID. Went through a visitor center, which was super nice, had a lot of information, and I was instantly greeted by the view of the beautiful Annapolis dock, which has a ton of yachts and different types of boats parked at it. And behind it is the downtown area of Annapolis, which I'll show y'all in a bit, but for now, let's check out the Naval Academy. The very first building I tried to enter was actually open, and it's the center of student athletes for all buildings, which is usually always closed. But yeah, as you can tell, they have a lot of sports here at Navy. Okay, it's probably open because they're having some kind of like training practice thing out there. I'm not gonna interrupt that, but yeah, the thought of being a student athlete, combining all of those obligations with the obligations that come with being in the Naval Academy or any service academy is insane to me. I do not know how they do that, and there's loud music blasting from the weight room that is right next to me. Oh my god, there is a lot of people in there. I think that is Navy's football team for sure, getting their reps in. Alright, yeah, they're definitely either about to start something or they just wrapped up, because the gates to the entire practice facility were wide open. And yeah, this is a really nice practice field. You're right on the water right there. Everything looks to be in super great condition. You got 4 different fields. Shout out Navy football, this is dope. Okay, there's about like 30 guys in white shirts right there about to come onto the field, so that is my cue that I should probably get out of here. Alright, I think we're about to exit the whole athletics area, but we got some tennis courts over there and a whole like outdoor weight room gym right there, which is, you know, very service academy. Okay, we're starting to get to some of the more standard buildings over here, but I think if I'm not mistaken, everyone who's in a white shirt is a plebe, aka an incoming freshman, such as that man right there. And to my knowledge, I'm pretty sure they have to go through a rigorous summer before freshman year, which is where they get yelled at, they get physically trained, they get mentally trained, and that is very much a thing at like most service academies. Business Insider actually has a great video, a whole series called Boot Camp, what their first day, first week is like here. I'll reiterate some of that now, but yeah, it is a lot they have to go through, and they're like everywhere around campus right now. I just heard one of the upperclassmen in yellow, I think detailers is what they're actually called, yell, "Hernandez, stop yapping, get over here right now," which is so funny. But if you don't know, like, they have discretion to be basically as rude as they want during this whole summer. Similar to your typical like Army or Marine boot camp. But yeah, I think we are approaching maybe the center of campus. At least this area looks like it's going to be pretty significant. Let's see. That sign says no visitors allowed beyond this point, and I am most certainly a visitor here, so I will not break that. But I can hear some guy giving like a lecture or something over there about like staying in your room at night and stuff. My guess is that is not for incoming Navy students. I think they look younger. It's probably like a high school camp or something like that. Interesting. Well, they've got 2 torpedoes displayed right here, both from Japan, Okinawa, from World War II. The front of this building right here, Dahlgren Hall, looks really sick. Let's see if we can get inside. Well, we got inside because someone was walking out, and whoa. This is so cool. I can't even figure out what the purpose of this building is. You've got every state flag. There it is. Shout out North Carolina. They also have like 4 tiny little like boxing rings set up there. I don't know what is going on in here. Alright, I have hit another visitors are not allowed beyond this point sign. I don't know how they're enforcing it, but I think it's whatever building is straight up there that they're not letting us get to, but I do recognize this space. I'm pretty sure it's nicknamed the Red Beach, and this is where all of the plebes on their very first day have to like assemble and get yelled at the most, and it's like the huge welcome to Navy moment kind of. That is all right here. Well, I know where to come if there's ever a nuclear blast. And as you saw there, that is the main chapel of Navy. It is still going off. It is, I guess it just turned 6, but that was 4 minutes ago. This is a long time. I think where I am right now is most definitely the actual like central middle part of campus. We have this statue in the middle, 4 cannons in 4 different directions surrounding it, and then you've got pathways to probably the 2 most important buildings on Navy's campus over there and over there, where all the plebes are right now. This whole lawn is really pretty. Unfortunately, it is a dreary day right now. Doing their formation, and I guess I just caught the tail end of it right there. Okay, come on, look at this whole area. I was honestly about to say their campus was kind of underwhelming for being such a, you know, prestigious service academy, but after seeing that lawn part and now this whole area, after seeing them do the march here, yeah, I think it's living up to it. Right now, no one else is here because it was filled with like 200, 300 people 10 minutes ago, and now they're all doing whatever they do inside that building. And yeah, this is very military looking. There's a lot of windows looking around. I don't know if anyone's looking at me right now, but I'm digging this, and I think I'm gonna film the intro to this video right here, right now, actually. Rain is kind of coming down right now, but this bell right here is from the USS Enterprise. Really neat. If I had to guess, a lot of these buildings around here are like residence halls, barracks, whatever they call them here, but probably where a lot of the students stay over the summer, and I think that's where they're kind of being corralled into right now. I know there's definitely a curfew, but it's definitely not 6, so maybe not. But I mean, the doors to Memorial Hall right up here are wide open, so let's see what we can see. Alright, the upstairs and all these doors are closed to visitors, but still, just this center part seems like it's like I'm almost in a church with some of the art like that. But I mean, the architecture, the white, yeah, this is prime Navy. These buildings that are alongside it look pretty nice, and I think these are finally some just traditional academic buildings. We'll see if we can get in one. The light isn't turning on, but this is what maybe a typical classroom looks like in Navy, and honestly, it's not bad. Into a lot of classroom buildings that are way older than this, and especially from, you know, an old service academy. I was kind of expecting that, but this isn't bad. All right, well, there's the end of the lawn. There's the end of that academic building that we were in earlier, and now we've reached the tippy top of campus. And up here you just have some more academic buildings. That one is, and this one is over here. And then this building back there is their main library called Nimitz Library. I love how they just keep like every building on this campus open. I guess that's the perk of having an ID check and security when you have to actually enter the campus. But yeah, this one is the School of Engineering and Weapons. Ooh. But yeah, I could kind of infer that from the decoration that is around here. You know, I guess this is where they talk about building like carriers and torpedoes and stuff. I don't know what I'm talking about, but this is really cool. Maybe this is where I'm gonna be in 5 years. Professor just left their laptop up here. Probably shouldn't be touching that. Okay, I'm not gonna mess around here. Wow, check out this view. You don't always get to leave a class building and see this. But again, if there's any place I would expect this from, it is the United States Naval Academy. What military institute do y'all think you would go to? I don't think I would do Coast Guard. I hate the ocean, but I would probably go Air Force. Air Force seems sick. Now, I'm not going to walk over that bridge, but if I did, I would run into some more just fields. Their small little baseball stadium is on that side of the river, and there's a few more housing-esque buildings, but other than that, this was pretty much campus, except for that building right there, which is at the very top of this part of campus. That is Alumni Hall, and that is where they play basketball and have any events or conventions or stuff like that. But yeah, as we've reached the top of camp, I think it's definitely worth discussing reasons why people would come to the Naval Academy. If you look at it on the surface of just being yelled at a lot and having spent 5 years at least of your life in the military afterwards, it doesn't sound like the best college experience. But as I mentioned earlier, there's a lot of benefits, and one of those benefits is it is completely free. Obviously, the Naval Academy is hard to get into. There's like a, I think 11% acceptance rate, and not only is it free, but you actually get paid to be here. I think it's about like $2,000 a month that you get. So obviously benefits like that, plus a pretty high level education, you can't make it a piece of cake to get into. And yeah, I'm sure there's people that apply to all the service academies thinking that that's probably the only way that they want to go or are able to go to college, and then they don't get in, and then they join the traditional military, whether that be for personal or financial reasons. But yeah, I learned a decent bit about this because my next door neighbor back in North Carolina actually went to the Naval Academy. He was 4 years older than me, so it was always super crazy to me when I was in high school listening to him talk about his college experience, because that's not at all how I painted college in my mind. And obviously eventually I decided to go the traditional route, but I'd always thought it's really cool. I mean, it gets you in shape first of all, and you are getting a degree from a very high level university, which will help later on. But there's also a bunch of other stuff he was doing, like getting his pilot's license. He flew planes for a little bit after he graduated. He lived in Iceland for a little bit, was forming bonds with people that he had gone through all this with. And yeah, there's definitely a lot of benefits to be had with coming to a service academy as well. Oh wow, I completely missed this whole area earlier, but this is really nice as well. And there's doing some trading, whatever over there. I just walked into what was called King Hall, not knowing what it was. And it most certainly seems like it is a full-blown dining hall, or mess hall, I think is what they call it here. Look at that.
Hey, you can't film in here.
Oh, I guess that was caught on camera. I was told that I was not allowed to film in there or anywhere inside any of these buildings, which is interesting. But yeah, you can like 1000% just feel a noticeable difference when walking through here versus a traditional college campus in the students and the vibe. Yeah, it's definitely way more sophisticated, put together. Never been told to return with honor anytime I leave a college campus. And then after what would be like a 10-minute walk from campus, you hit downtown Annapolis. Now it's not your downtown, it's kind of just one main street and the dockside down there. But for what it's worth, this one street is super nice. It reminds me a little bit of like Alexandria, Virginia, but a bit bigger and a bit nicer. You've got all your typical shops, local restaurants, Navy gear, and it's certainly good vibes right now. It's like a Friday at 7 p.m. when I'm filming this, so it's obviously pretty crowded. And yeah, Annapolis isn't really a college town, it's a state capital, but honestly, it feels like it's kind of in between both, which makes sense. It's pretty common to just like see people walking over here in their full white Navy uniforms, obviously. And if I had to pick one word to describe Annapolis, this whole part and then the residential part, which is a bunch of like tiny little colored houses that I drove through earlier, it would be cute. And yeah, over there is kind of the dock side of downtown. You got some more restaurants in. There's like 3-4 bars on that street right there. Last time I was here was a bit later, and the lines for all of these were pretty packed, and we didn't go inside, but it looked kind of fun on the inside. So I'm sure that's where all the midshipmen, I don't know why it took me that long to learn the term that you call Navy students, but I'm pretty sure that's where all of them go for a night out, which is really cool. And so overall, I think the Naval Academy actually pleasantly surprised me. I didn't really know what I was walking into, given it was the first service academy I had been to, but the structure of everything, the buildings, the athletics, honestly a lot of it could just pass as a regular college campus, which in essence is what it should be aside from the obvious military affiliation. And on top of that, I loved Annapolis. It's pretty small, but still has a lot to offer, and for a place you're only in for 3 to 5 years, I think that's totally fine. So while nothing I saw on campus was extraordinary per se, I think Navy still has a very solid campus, and the main differences of Navy compared to other schools really just comes down to the lifestyle. And that is something that's definitely not for everyone, but for the few that are lucky to get in and we're looking for that sort of thing, Navy might just be the right fit. So let me know what y'all think, and in the time since I've recorded this video, I've actually visited Army and Air Force as well, so we'll put up a video comparing all of those pretty soon. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you later. Peace.